To conclude, let us consider a particular case of this general economic model, which is a possible representation of the original setting in which Pareto defined the concept of a Pareto optimum. You remember, this concept was introduced in connection with the working of a socialist economy, not of a decentralized economy, but of a socialist economy. The problem which Pareto attempted to resolve is the following. Suppose that all the means of production as owned by the state, and there is a Minister of Production which must decide what quantities of goods are to be produced. But this minister knows only what are the technical possibilities of economy. In other terms, the production sets of all the factories in the economy. But he does not know the preferences of the consumer. So it lacks a fundamental element to understand what quantities are to be produced. The preferences, household preferences, are not known. Pareto observed that in order to find the optimal quantity to produce in a socialist economy, it is necessary to show that no change in these quantities can give an higher utility to every consumer. In other terms, the scope, the goal of a Minister of Production is to individuate a Pareto optimum, a consumption Pareto optimum. By what means? Suppose that this is a set T, production possibility set. Suppose, for the sake of simplicity, that this set is complex. Initially, the Minister of Production, which does not know individual preferences, chooses n vector T of available quantities. This vector is the result of initial endowment of economy, omega, which is owned by the state, and, as before, by the different production processes of the F factories, F firms. Or it determines a vector T. Suppose, for the sake of simplicity, that T belongs to to the boundary of large T, the transformation function. At this point, let us construct the edge box of consumption between the cycles. Suppose that there are only two cycles. So you have x11, x12, x21, x22. The Minister of Production has obtained these quantities of our two goods. Then it divides them between our two households according to a distributional rule. And then, as an important point, permits to the consumer to exchange goods on the market. But note that the total quantities of goods are given. So in every respect, this phase of the working of the socialist economy is a substantial and pure exchange economy. The state decides the quantity to be produced, then distributes in some way between our two sides, and then permits them to exchange. Suppose that this equilibrium is determined. Say half with this price system. Now, the observation of by Pareto is the following. When the Minister of Production observes these equilibrium price systems, he computes, according to this price system, the value of T, the value of the quantities he decided initially to produce. So, P times T. And pose this problem. But according to this P, which is determinant of the markets, the value of T is maximal with respect of every other element of large T. Now that this inequality holds for every T prime in T. If this result is verified, in other terms, if there is law of the transformation curve is at this point the same of the budget lines, well, we are, say Pareto, in an efficient allocation. And no change in the vector T is necessary. But suppose that this is not the case. This is the vector T, which is produced, which is the initial dome. This is the price system, and these are the equilibrium allocation. If observe that according to this price system, T is not the vector which maximizes the total value of available resources, because there are, for example, this T prime whose value is greater. So Pareto said, if this is the case, it is possible to increase the total value of produced quantities and to distribute then this increase in value, distribute this increase among the different consumers, in order to have a greater utility for every subject. So, according to this observation, in the second time, the Minister of Production changes the optimal, the chosen T, and passes to T prime, and repeats this procedure. If, with the price system, which is determined by T prime, T prime is the vector which maximizes the value of available resources, the process ends, stops. Otherwise, there is another step, altogether similar, and so on, and so on, and so on. In every case, this trial and error process terminates when, given NT, and given the price system which is determined on the markets by the exchange between households, that T, according to this price system, maximizes value in large T. But this is nothing but one of the results we obtained in the previous lessons. Remember, in the proof of the first theorem of welfare economics, this was heavily based on the fact that the produced quantity maximized the total value of available resources. But in that case, the produced quantities were decided by independent firms with respect to a set of market prices. Here, they are decided by a Minister of Production. And it is clear that, generally speaking, they are wrong quantities. They don't determine a Pareto optimum in the modern sense. Because by applying our previous theorems, we obtain this result. When effectively the chosen vector of available quantities maximizes value with respect to the price system which is determined on the markets, then the resulting allocation is a Pareto optimum. This is nothing but a repetition of our first theorem of welfare economics. However, without entering in technical details, you comprehend, I hope, how the concept of a Pareto optimum was born. Simply by the attempt to increase the value of valuable resources, because of this increase, as it is easy to show in consumer theory, generally speaking, increase also the utility of the consumer if this increase in value is suitably distributed among the sides. This is a way in which Pareto, for the first time, introduced the concept of an efficient allocation of resources. I repeat, with regard to a non-decentralized economy, but on the contrary, of a centralized economy. Centralized for all which concerns production, even if consumption is determined by the working of markets, because they also exchange goods which are given in their total quantities, since they are a consequence of the Minister of Production decision. Well, this is only a hint of a fundamental theorem. I wrote some years ago a paper on this subject. If someone is interested to this liaison between the modern and the original concept of Pareto optimum, I can indicate the reference of this paper to develop their argument. With this, the third module in advanced microeconomics is ended. I am sorry that the explanations are not very clear, but I know I will not no reaction from you as I should have if you were in this classroom. Oh well, this is the best in this situation. Arrivederci.